In this video, I'll demonstrate knit 1, purl 1 ribbing, which you'll also see abbreviated as K1, P1. The knit 1, purl 1 ribbing is created by alternating knit stitches with purl stitches every other stitch. So here we have a column of knit stitches, followed by a column of purl stitches, knit, purl, knit, purl. You can see that there are alternating V's and purl bumps right here as you move along, and that's how you can tell whether you're knitting a knit stitch or you're creating a purl stitch every other stitch down the line. Ribbing is very stretchy because those purl stitches recede between the knit stitches and behind them. It's often used on the cuffs of socks or the cuffs of sweater sleeves or the brims of hats. It's also reversible, so you can see that it looks the same on either side. In order to create ribbing, we're going to begin by making a knit stitch. So we'll plant from front to back, wrap that stitch around the back, and pull it through. And we lift it off. I've now created one knit stitch. My next stitch will be a purl stitch, but I have to get that yarn into the front in order to create that stitch. So I simply move the yarn between the needles and now it's in front. And now I can purl that stitch where I plant from back to front, wrap, and push off the needle and lift it off. That yarn is now in front, and I need to move it in back for the knit stitch. I move it back between the needles, and I'm ready to create the next stitch. Plant, wrap, and pull. And I've created my knit stitch. I move the yarn to the front and purl in through the back, wrap, and push. And I'm going to continue doing that, alternating between knits and purls by moving my yarn forward and back as I move down the row of stitches. I just created a purl stitch, going to knit, bring my yarn forward, purl, bring my yarn back, knit, and bring my yarn forward and purl. We'll do 2 more stitches. Yarn back to knit, and yarn forward to purl. And now I'm ready to turn my work, which I'll do just by pivoting my needle around. And I'm ready now to create that next row of ribbing. So in the last row, we ended with a purl stitch. And because when you create a purl, it creates a knit on the other side, we're now ready to go again right back with our knit stitch. And if you are able to look at the stitches, you should be able to tell whether you're going to be knitting a knit or a purl. That edge stitch sometimes looks a little wavy, but we still can see our V's. There's the 2 legs of the V, which is the knit stitch. That next stitch, we have the purl bump. So we know we're going to need to purl that stitch. So every row we're going to be knitting our knits and purling our purls. And then you'll end up with 1 by 1 ribbing. And that is 1 by 1 ribbing.